Diversity and inclusion has always been important to the city of Sterling Heights. The city hosted its first meeting of its new African American coalition to discuss issues that affect its African American residents. It is estimated that approximately 10,000 African Americans live in Sterling Heights. City Manager Mark Vanderpool gave introduction remarks and then led the participants in live polling, which framed the discussion for the rest of the evening. The live polling found that Sterling Heights does a good job at having equality in education and housing. Job opportunities, however, seem to be the biggest concern. Michigan Diversity Council's Darlene King moderated the discussion. As executive director, Darlene works with corporations and organizations in developing inclusion initiatives.
I'm here and I am excited to be here. And so let's talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and access, because access is so very, very important. And it's so huge when it comes to municipalities being able to be better communities. It has to be a place of not only inclusiveness, but for access.
This is just the first meeting of the coalition. The city intends to hold African American Coalition meetings monthly. Residents on hand were impressed that the city has started the coalition.
This was a really great event to bring the community together to dialogue and talk about what can be done in the terms of racial diversity and inclusion in the city of Sterling Heights. It was a pleasure to be here. It was great to have people from the city council here present to be able to hear the conversations. And it was facilitated very well, and I look forward to more of these types of conversations in the future.
First, I'd like to say I'm very happy and pleased, being a black resident of the city, that the city is even putting on something like this. You know, I think that first is, that's progressive, very progressive. You don't see it much at all. Well, it's the first time, so it's the first time we've seen it. But as far as the conversations that we had tonight, you know, it's a lot to talk about. You know, we had one meeting that lasted an hour and a half, and we got to some of the main points that should be addressed. But I think as we move further and we all get more comfortable with each other to be able to speak out, that more things and more detailed items will probably come out too. You know, there was probably about maybe 40 people here, I say, but we probably only had maybe 10 speakers. And I think as more people get less nervous, more comfortable, and see that it's okay to speak about things, it will get even further, you know, into this thing.
Also in attendance were members of the Sterling Heights City Council.
I'm so happy to have a full-packed room, really the maximum I think we can do under the governor's order, here to talk about diversity, inclusion, equity, and African American issues in Sterling Heights. And I'm just so excited to see that so many people want to get involved in government and want to make it a better place for everyone. So I'm hopeful that these meetings are going to continue. We're going to have more conversations about how we can achieve that diversity, equity, and inclusion, and make sure that in Sterling Heights, everyone is represented in government.
We all might see the same thing, but certainly we don't all feel the same thing. So that's what I'm going to be interested in finding out other people's opinions as to what they want, what they expect from us as from the city, as well as from leaders in the city, and how we can make Sterling Heights a better place for all of us to live.
I think this is a great starting point to start that conversation, to learn how we can be better and how we can be more effective with everybody in the city of Sterling Heights.
And this gives us the opportunity to learn about them, to see if there's something that we can make them feel more inclusive in our community, because that's what it's all about. We're here for the residents, and we always will be.
This was an outstanding turnout. We had a great representation of the city, our African American residents in Sterling Heights. We had leadership from the schools and from other agencies, so I couldn't be more pleased and excited with this very first meeting. It's just the first of many more to come. This is going to be a lot of hard work, but exciting work at the same time. And I'm super proud of our African American residents for coming out and supporting this endeavor. and for being willing to volunteer and work with us.